Hi guys, welcome to another YouTube video. So in this video I would like to show you a game I played against a Grandmaster. That was a bullet game. Bullet chess is my specialist. I really like to play bullet games, and I think it is by far the best time control for me. As you can understand from my rating at the bottom, like you can see my rating is 2815, and my opponent's rating was, I think it was 2950, but it looks like now my opponent has dropped a few ratings. So yeah, so without further ado, let's dive into the game. So I would like to show you this game. Okay, so my opponent started out with d4. I was playing with black pieces, by the way, so I played d5, knight c3. So knight c3 is a little bit unusual, but I would say nowadays it is a normal move. This is initiating to Jobaba London. Jobaba London is knight c3 followed with bishop f4. It is a little bit different than the normal London system, because in the normal London system, white usually goes for pawn to c3 instead of knight to c3. But in the job of London, white plays knight to c3 with bishop f4. So I play knight f6 and bishop f4. Here I chose to play a6. Sorry guys. So the reason why I played a6 is, so in this line, like if you play knight to c6, this is a common mistake, because now this knight can jump onto b5, and then now like this knight and this bishop wants to take the c7 pawn, and then it is going to be really bad for black. So, and there is no good way for black to handle with this threat. So this is why I ended up playing a6. So white played e3, I played b5. I wanted to extend on the queen side. My opponent played h4, so that was a very aggressive move. But this is a typical plan actually in the job of London. Like usually a white goes for the attack on the king side by launching this pawn, by pushing this pawn all the way down to h6. Sometimes even g4, g5 can come in. So I played bishop b7, h6, sorry, h5, h6. I don't want him to get into h6 square. Knight f3, e6, bishop d3, c5, this is all normal. Knight e5, knight c6, this is all normal stuff so far. And rook h3, so this looks very weird, but the idea is now like white doesn't want to castle on this side, and white wants to bring as many pieces as possible for attack on this side against these pawns. So I took the knight, my opponent took back with his pawn. So I went to e4, and this is, I think, the best square for the knight, because like if I went to d7, I think this queen can come into g4, and then now still can be playable for black, but I thought that would be kind of annoying for me to play, because now I cannot even move my bishop. If I do that, this pawn would be hanging. So I went here, and then now like if the knight takes or the bishop takes, I can recapture with this pawn. So white Grandmaster played queen g4, so I played queen a5, and I believe that was the really good way to play, because now I am pinning the knight, as you can see guys, and then I am having pressure on c3 knight. I want to take it with two different pieces. So my opponent took with his bishop, so I took back with my pawn, and I got I ended up having bishop pair, whereas my opponent didn't have two bishops. So usually if you have two bishops and if your opponent doesn't have two bishops, it is called like slight advantage for you most of the time. It is an advantageous situation for you most of the time. So my opponent played king f1, like he is trying to hide his king probably to h2 or maybe h1. He is running away from the center, makes sense. So I played b4, of course, knight e2, and now can you guess what I played here? It was not a crazy move, but I think it was a good move. It was an effective move. So I played queen b5. So I pinned the knight, And I also want to go to c4 because this pawn is really weak on c2 square. King g1, rook d8, and I got my rook to open file here. My rook is in really good place. a4, so I went to c4. Now I'm threatening to take the pawn. Bishop h2, so I took the pawn. So guys, like if you are wondering why white didn't play rook c1, I think he didn't want to play this move because if he does that, like I can simply go here and still, you know, I am attacking the knight and I am also attacking the pawn, so it is a fork. So my opponent acknowledged that he was going to lose the pawn, so he played bishop h2. I took the pawn, and then now like I get a very active position, but still I need to be careful in this side because my king is in the center. I haven't done castle yet. Knight f4, so white is trying to get more pieces to this side, and there can be some sacrifices, especially on e6, so I have to watch out for the sacrifices. I took the pawn, and of course now that wouldn't work because if he does that, like I can just take it and this is going to be checkmate, forced checkmate. So rook d1 I took, my opponent took, and then I played b3, he played bishop g3, and here I played queen c2. And guys, usually when you are up in terms of material, and especially if you are, I mean, if your opponent is like attacking to you, like if you have uncastled king, if you have king in the center like I have, usually it is better for you to trading off the queens rather than keeping the queens on the board. So if you can exchange the queens, it is going to be beneficial for you when you have a king like that. So this is why I ended up doing this move. I ended up making this move. So of course white, you know, didn't want to exchange the queens. He went to g4, so I played b2, and now he sacrificed. Like here it is losing for white, and my opponent, I think, you know, wanted to try his final chance. So he took the knight, and of course I didn't even take the knight here because I can simply get a second queen. So the king goes here. And now guys, I want to ask you one question. So you can pause the video here, and what would you play here as black? Okay, so here I don't know what I did was the best option, but I think what I did was a really like very logical move. Like from the human perspective, I think what I ended up making was really clever. So I played queen to d1. So now again I am offering a queen trade, and I am also threatening checkmate in one on g1 or on h1. So this is obviously losing for white, so white checked, and this king can go to d8. This was the move I played, and then now like white didn't have a good check, so he resigned here because there is really no good check for him. All the squares are covered. If the knight goes to e6, now I can simply take, and actually here the bishop can check like that, but if he does that, this is also nothing. This is not a big deal. I can simply capture the knight, and still I am completely winning. So guys, that was the game, and I am really proud of this game because my opponent was a really very strong player. So yeah, that was a great game for me. So I wanted to share this game with you guys. I hope you liked the video, and I will continue to post more videos soon. So if you haven't subscribed to channel yet, definitely subscribe to channel, and if you like the video, please make sure to like the video, and I will talk to you soon. Bye bye guys, take care.